All right, if you've looked around, that tape is getting some play here. I don't know about elsewhere, but I don't think that a lot of news organizations wasted a nanosecond when that 11-year-old Donald Trump tape came out with Billy Bush, and he said some rather questionable things about women. We played that tape. We went into that as well, but we also played this tape because, oh, I don't know, fair and balanced kind of matters to us. So why isn't there much coverage of revelations on that tape that show Democrats were planning to disrupt Donald Trump rallies? The Democrats were even talking about coming in cars instead of buses to not draw attention to the fact that they were there to disrupt those rallies. Why was there little attention paid to even hate for play among those Democrats trying to get up forces to do just that at those Trump rallies? Isn't that just as germane as looking into one candidate's tawdry past and comments on and about women? It would think, or you would think. Tony Perkins on what's so not very fair and not very balanced about that, the Family Research Council president joining us now. Tony, that's a pretty big double standard there. What do you think of that?
It is a double standard. I mean, you have Democratic operatives talking about fabricating opposition at events, challenging elections or actually undermining elections. This is very significant because yesterday President Obama mocked Donald Trump for raising issues about voter integrity and election integrity, but yet it was in August that the president's own Secretary of Homeland Security was saying that we might have Russian actors who would hack into our election system. Well, now we know it's not Russian actors, bad actors we got to be concerned about. It's bad actors here on the political left that may undermine our election.
Are you worried, though, the media continues this policy? And it's easy to play the media game, and they're slant unfair. 96% of them give to Democrats. And it is what it is, I guess. People just accept that. And I always ask myself, every election cycle, midterms, local, state, all the way to the presidential, why? Why is that accepted? Why isn't it an issue that they balance it out? By all means, go after Donald Trump and what he has said and comments he has made. Even if they're 11 years old, have at it. But at least show half the same zeal, you know, getting into issues that might be embarrassing for Democrats. I don't see that. In fact, forget half. It's but a fraction of the coverage devoted to the ills and prevails of a Republican candidate. What do you make of that?
Well, doing what is right and what is in the best interest of the country has always been difficult. What is easy is to stick with the crowd. And the media, look, they favor Hillary Clinton. It's obvious. And in this, what it comes down to, Neil, is that voters have to realize, conservative voters who care about this country, that they're going to have to be engaged in this process. That means not only voting, where we've got some who, because of the tactics of the left, there's this suppression of voter turnout among conservative voters. Look, they've got to vote. Vote for party platforms. Vote for the policies that the two candidates embrace, the Supreme Court, national security, religious freedom. But also be involved and be poll watchers. We need conservatives, Republicans who are at the polls watching to make sure that those that are associated with groups like People for the American Way, who one of these actors was attached to, are not stealing the elections come November the 8th.
You know, Tony, all of that craziness notwithstanding, I keep hearing from a lot of Trump supporters that our support is understated. This is another Brexit. The populist wave isn't being appreciated in this country as it wasn't in that country and other European countries where it was sweeping the continent. But it would, for that to be true, and I don't doubt that there might be numbers that are underrepresented, you'd have to have a big swing of them, right? I mean, right now, depending on the polls, I mean, for that to happen, you'd have to see a substantial shift from these numbers, right? Or am I wrong?
I think you would, but I do think, and I don't have any, I only have anecdotal evidence, but we look back, you mentioned Brexit, but I also go back about 10 years when marriage amendments were on ballots across the states. On average, those underpolled 7 percentage points because people were afraid when a pollster would call, you know, that they would be, you know, labeled, you know, some negative name. The same thing with Trump supporters, and this is by design by the left. The rules for radicals, this comes right out of that, is that you want to marginalize, stigmatize Trump voters and so that people won't identify. And so they're not, I do believe they're underpolling, maybe 5 to 7%, maybe more, I don't know. But I do know, Neil, what's critical is that people who have questions about Donald Trump, his character, Hillary Clinton and her character, those two things zero one another out. It now comes down to policies, it comes down to party platforms, and in those two cases, the contrast could not be more clear. And so people need to go vote for party platforms, a platform that will protect the Constitution, protect religious freedoms, protect this country, and look at the policies that both candidates embrace. Both have clearly aligned with the party platforms. That should be enough to motivate voters to go out and vote for the future of this country.
We'll watch closely. Tony, thank you very much. Tony Perkins.